Hello and welcome to ILTV's Israel Daily. I'm Aaron Porras.
And I'm Natasha Kircha. Coming up in today's newscast, U.S. Secretary of State Pompeo arrives in Israel to talk about Turkey.
We'll reveal the top secret spots in Israel that you just can't miss out on.
And have you ever felt so hungry that you could eat the bowl? Well, now you can, thanks to an incredible Israeli company. United States Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is arriving in Israel tomorrow, and he's in the country for senior-level talks regarding the deteriorating situation in Syria.
The meeting comes as the Turkish offensive against the U.S. allied Kurdish forces continues, and Pompeo is set to assure Netanyahu that the United States' withdrawal from the northern Syria does not put Israel at risk.
Gunfire, explosions. This is a look at the heavy fighting that shows no sign of slowing down in Ras al-Ain, a strategic border town in Syria. Syrian opposition fighters are continuing their offensive against Kurdish militant groups in northeastern Syria, now that U.S. troops have withdrawn from the region. U.S. President Trump is under intense criticism for the decision, which has allowed Turkish leader Erdogan to attack the Kurds, a minority group that want to establish an independent state in the area and that Turkey views as terrorists.
Now, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has just met with Turkish officials in Ankara, along with United States Vice President Michael Pence, in an effort to get President Erdogan to stop his assault. President Trump even sent an odd letter to the Turkish leader on October 9th, reading, "Let's work out a good deal. You don't want to be responsible for slaughtering thousands, and I don't want to be responsible for destroying the Turkish economy with sanctions, but I will. Don't be a tough guy and don't be a fool."
Still, though, Trump continues to argue for the pullout, even against the U.S. House, which just overwhelmingly voted to condemn the move. Because as predicted by many U.S. officials, following the United States military pullout, Erdogan launched his attack, killing hundreds on both sides and displacing hundreds of thousands. At the same time, Washington has lost face by seemingly abandoning its allies, like the Kurds, Israel, and even the Gulf states, who, after Iran's recent targeting of Saudi oil, looked to this latest betrayal as a major red flag.
Hundreds of ISIS fighters are also escaping captivity, while Syrian forces struggle to reinforce the border. Turkish President Erdogan, however, is not yielding. He views the Kurds, who want to form an independent Kurdish state in the area, as terrorists, and he's also looking to establish a supposed safe zone for housing Syrian refugees.
Barış Pınarı harekatımızın iki önemli amacı vardır. Bunlardan ilki Suriye'nin kuzeyindeki PKK-YPG kaynaklı terör tehdidinin tamamen ortadan kaldırılmasıdır. Harekatın ikinci gayesi ise 8 yıldır misafir ettiğimiz 3.650.000 Suriyeli Arap'ın kendi ülkelerine, kendi vatanlarına huzuru kalple dönebilmelerini sağlamaktır.
Joining us now for more on the Turkish incursion into Syria, please welcome Middle East historian and co-founder of the Forum for Regional Thinking, Professor Dror Zevi. Thank you so much for coming in. Now, what is Turkey's response to the latest developments with the U.S. condemning the attacks in northern Syria? Should they be worried about the sanctions from the United States?
Well, I don't really know what kind of sanctions the Americans are planning, but of course the Americans can hurt Turkey's economy pretty badly. I don't know if they will do it, and it seems like they're hesitant about this at the moment, but I'm pretty sure they can. They already put sanctions on one major bank in Turkey, Halkbank, which is now floundering, and it seems like it's going to go down. And perhaps they'll do some more.
But let's talk about Israel, right?
What do you think Israel's response to Syria should be and will be? And can we trust the United States' promises for, protection and how this won't spill over into Israel?
Well, I think as far as American policy in the Middle East is concerned, this is a great disaster. I think what President Trump did, I don't have any other word for it, is idiotic or moronic. I think he has put the whole Middle East in risk of Iranian takeover. He has probably increased the risk of ISIS getting back into the game. He has forsaken his allies, his best allies in the Middle East, and I think Israel has a lot to be worried about in this situation. I don't know if it's going to happen tomorrow or the day after, but it seems like nobody should trust America anymore in the Middle East.
Well, also, I mean, the Kurdish issue here is also something that, really stands out. All of a sudden, we're seeing this rise in support for the Kurdish people. Why is that the case?
Well, there's a historical connection between Israel and the Kurds. It started very early on in the 1950s and 1960s when Israel established the first contacts with the Kurdish people, sent emissaries over there who helped them in their mutiny against the Iraqis. And since then, we've been having, Israel has been having good relations with the Kurdish people, and I think we've proved that over and over, also in their fight against ISIS and the Syrian forces in the past decade. So there's a history, and I think we are very close to the Kurds, and I think they know it.
Well, what lengths do you think Erdogan will go to in this fight against the Kurds in Syria, and what can Israel do, and what can Israelis do to maybe help the Kurds if they so wish?
As far as Turkey is concerned, I don't think, I think Erdogan is ready to go to great lengths to solve his problem. Basically, it's an internal problem. It's not the problem of the Turks. The Turks are a minor problem for him on the border. He has major internal problems, economic as well as political. His party is losing ground. His economy is really in bad shape. So he's found this solution. As we know, it happens a lot in the Middle East. You find an external enemy. So from Turkish point of view, I think Erdogan is ready to go and do whatever it takes. As far as Israel is concerned,
how this plays out. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Now, coming back to Israeli politics, and with just a week left in his mandate to form a coalition, Prime Minister Netanyahu is attempting to secure his position by reportedly offering rival Benny Gantz an emergency unity government. And the deal would include a status quo with religion and state, but also the advancement of mandatory military enlistment reform. Now, this comes just a day after Netanyahu also had the leaders of the four religious parties, Shas, UTJ, Jewish Home, and National Union, sign a pledge vowing not to join a minority coalition with Gantz.
Such a coalition would consist of the Blue and White Party, the left-wing opposition parties, and the Joint List Arab parties. And it would also likely have to include Avigdor Lieberman's Israel Beitenu party. But many critics are brushing off the pledge as pointless, considering how this arrangement has only been discussed by some media analysts. And both Naftali Bennett and New Right chairwoman Ayelet Shaked have refused to sign, deeming it unnecessary. Even the centrist Blue and White Party has apparently ignored the idea of forming such a government. Gantz has never even mentioned it in the time since September's elections. Rather, a Channel 12 report on Wednesday actually says that Gantz is now easing up to the idea of a joint coalition with Netanyahu, in spite of previous commitments. In fact, he apparently has been telling party confidants that he plans to stall for a number of months before finally adopting President Rivlin's original power-sharing agreement, which either way sees an eventual end to Netanyahu's reign. Rivlin in September suggested a broad unity government in which Netanyahu and Gantz would share power and divide the premiership into two-year terms.
Now, while the Holocaust happened more than 75 years ago, those who survived it vividly remember all the atrocities. But what's the statute of limitations for war crimes and crimes against humanity? What offenders should be on the hook for their past crimes?
Well, ILTV's correspondent Shanna Fold is here with the story of one man who is faced with this very dilemma right now in Hamburg, Germany. Shanna, thanks so much for joining us. Now, tell us a little bit about this case.
So we're talking about a 92-year-old man from Germany. His name is Bruno Day, according to German media. They won't release the last name. He is being tried in juvenile court because he was 17 when he committed these crimes for the murder of 5,230 people during World War II from 1944 to 1945.
And what camp was he in? Where did this take place?
So this took place at Stutthof, which is present-day Poland, and there were about 65,000 people who were exterminated there.
That's crazy. So, but I mean, this is a 92-year-old man that we're talking about. What are the statutes of limitation when it comes to these war crimes from the Holocaust?
So that was my first question when I was reading this, and there are two dates that stood out. In 1979, West German parliament voted to abolish the statute of limitations for Nazis, for people who were going to be tried in court for World War II crimes.
Right.
Now in 2011, there was also a grounds for culpability if just working in a camp. So if you just worked at a camp,
Even if you then you're complicit.
liable.
Wow.
Well,
All right.
what are his arguments in court?
Yeah.
In court, because I can imagine at 92 years old.
What's his
So
defense?
this is what his defense was. He said, if it weren't me, they would have just found somebody else. He said, I was 17 years old, I was following orders, and had it not been me, it would have been anybody. So he doesn't really feel that he should go down for it, but he doesn't deny that he was there, and he doesn't deny that he saw people being going into the gas chambers. So, yeah.
Yeah, this is difficult, because you
Sure.
see these elderly people going through these cases. I mean, but
Well, and again, I'm
culpabi-
curious what they take into account. Whether they take into account again his age. You said he's in a juvenile
Yes,
court.
well, there
and
was
his state of mind.
There was a 95-year-old man who was charged, faced charges earlier this month, and he was actually let off after having heart and kidney disease. So.
yeah. All right. Well, at the end of the day, it's about remembering the victims.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, now everyone is waiting to find out the details of the United States President Donald Trump's peace plan called the Deal of the Century. But now we're at least getting a little taste of what not to expect, and that's the relocation of any settlers living in the West Bank. Many who are in favor of creating a Palestinian state feel strongly that the West Bank and East Jerusalem needs to be clear of Jews in order to move forward. In 2005, 8,000 settlers were removed from Gaza in an enormous operation in order to offer Palestinians sovereignty and to hopefully come closer to peace. But this time around, U.S. Ambassador David Friedman says that is not a part of the plan. Friedman called uprooting settlers a, quote, inhuman process, and called the pullout from Gaza a failed policy, saying that that's not on the table for the West Bank, which has 350,000 Israelis living there. Top Palestinian official Saeb Erekat calls on the international community to, quote, take immediate action to save the prospects of a just and lasting peace, however, against the systemic attempts of the U.S. administration and Israel to undermine international law. Friedman, though, says that he believes Israel has the right to retain some, but not likely all, of the West Bank settlements.
All right, want to see a side of Israel that most people haven't seen before? Well, Visit to Israel is one of the world's leading Instagram pages about how to travel in Israel. And today they have the scoop on 2 secret Israeli destinations that you just cannot miss out on. Ela, take it away. Tell us what you have in store.
Hi guys, so as you all know, the Dead Sea is top tourist attraction here in Israel, but there aren't many visitors to the Tree of Life in the Dead Sea.
There's a tree of life in the Dead Sea. I didn't even know that there was
Apparently.
life in the Dead Sea.
Apparently, so back in 2015, a lifeguard in one of the beaches of the Dead Sea, they have lifeguards over there, even though
which
you
is also
float.
a shocker.
Yeah, in another conversation of ours, decided to take a dead tree that he found and put it on a stack of salt floating in the water. He just put it there with ropes and stones, and as you all see, it still exists today, and it's a top tourist attraction not many people know about.
I had no idea that there was a tree, and because everybody thinks that there's no life, it's basically.
And is it still just like floating around? Like where is it exactly?
Well, so you can see it if you go to Leonardo Plaza Hotel. You can see it just off the beach, so you could swim there. It takes about 20-minute swim.
20 minutes from
but you don't, you float, you don't sink.
It's not
Well, you
that.
can't get salt in your eyes the whole way because that's very
backfloat.
painful.
Yeah, you can take with your phone like this and get there and take a photo with it. And it's really beautiful. I really recommend going.
So what's up next?
Yes.
Okay, so we have the Hidden Lake of Timna Park. We're talking south of Israel, not far off Eilat.
Okay.
Timna Park is a beautiful park with red cliffs, mountains, it's the mountains of Eilat area. The Hidden Lake is actually an artificial one. They had a quarry there, and it's beautiful green blue water. You can take a swim there. It's just 12 to 15 minutes walk as you enter the park.
And it's amazing because it's completely green in the middle of these kind of red mountains, right?
Yes,
So
the
it's
contrast of the colors is just amazing. Not something you see in this desert
and you
like
can swim in it.
Well,
right?
that's more magic of Israel, yeah. I mean,
Exactly.
That's just amazing.
Although we should mention that it has like a smell of sulfur. Yeah, but it's like good for your
Is it
skin.
sulfur Corey, maybe?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, Eilat, thank you so much for giving us
Thank
these
you, guys.
destinations.
Thank you so much for coming. All right, so first dates can be quite an interesting experience, meeting a complete stranger for the first time and trying to figure out if you're compatible or not. I'm sure you know the feeling,
Absolutely.
maybe from years ago. ILTV's Emmanuel Kadosh, though, took to the streets of Tel Aviv to ask people her must-ask first date questions.
Oh, I'm sure you want to hear this.
So when I go on a first date with someone, I like to ask them a few very crucial questions to get to know them as a person a little bit better. I decided to go hit the streets of Tel Aviv to find out what Israelis think of these questions and their answers. When you come back from a vacation, how long does it take you to unpack your suitcase?
13 דקות.
As soon as I come back, that's what I do. I don't even wash myself.
Thank you.
Day.
שבוע.
Shavua?
כן.
1 week? When you are making cereal, do you put the cereal and then the milk, or the milk and then the cereal?
הדגנים ואז החלב. Not this and not this because I don't eat cereal.
אני לא הייתי מתעסק בזה.
חלב ואז את הסיריאל.
מה?
כן.
לא באמת.
באמת.
לא באמת. לא באמת. חלב ואז cereal.
כן.
That's nuts.
I didn't make cereal for a long time now, but when I did, cereal first.
When you're making tea, do you put the tea bag and then the hot water, or the hot water and then the tea bag?
את המים החמים ואז התה.
Interesting.
First the tea bag to have a feeling that I prepare something.
I drink only coffee.
טיון ואז מים חמים.
קודם את הטיעון, אחר כך מים חמים.
When you put your shoes on, do you put your socks first and then your shoes, or your sock, shoe?
Finish with the socks, then go with the shoes.
גרביים קודם, ואז נעליים.
גרביים ואז נעליים, או גרב נעל, גרב נעל?
לא, קודם גרביים ואז נעליים.
אז רק שאלה אחת, זה היה קצת שונה.
For lots of people, the world's biggest challenge is feeding the growing population, and for others, it's environment and waste.
Yeah, but you don't have to choose between them any longer, as one Israeli company is now taking on both issues with its amazing edible tableware.
And here to share all of the delicious details is the founder of IncrediBowl, Adi Polak. Thank you so much for coming, and I'm so excited to talk about everything that you have in front of you. So what is IncrediBowl? What are your inventions?
Okay, so actually I founded IncrediBowl in 2017.
Okay.
Basically understanding that most people would like to keep the environment, but they don't really have the means, or, the alternatives are not, they don't really, they don't address them.
Resources.
Exactly.
So you essentially create tableware that you can eat?
Yep.
All right, and what do we have here right now?
These are the Star Cups. These are edible shot glasses.
I wish
I
can
see
we
they're
get
in
close-up
various
shot of
flavors as
this?
well,
Yeah,
which is
okay.
just amazing.
And we have all the colors, right? So
Right.
which one is this?
This is a mojito, which is basically lemon and mint.
Okay, this is a Bloody Mary, right?
Right.
And does this have alcohol in it, or
That's already with alcohol and with blueberries.
Okay, so
inside.
you can actually fill each of these shots with whatever liquor that you want, which we're going to get to at the end here.
Which, we'll definitely...
Because you have two other products sitting right next to you that I also would love to
Which look delicious, actually, yes.
Okay, so what is this?
Those are edible bowls, and they come in different flavors. Some you have Oreo flavor and cookie flavor. Some of them are vegan, some of them are not, and basically.
Come over here. Let's see.
We have to try them, because that's the biggest question. When you get stuff like this, is how does it taste?
Wow.
Because that's really the big question. And I feel bad opening the packaging.
I know,
because
it's really beautiful.
Well,
and it comes with a little spoon.
Absolutely.
So you're kind of basically killing two birds with one stone here, because this essentially allows an opportunity for people to, not have to use reusable, or not have to throw away, plastic silverware or wastewater washing dishes.
Exactly.
Does it taste good?
It tastes amazing. I'm gonna start with that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay,
it's got like vanilla in it. It's kind of like a not ginger, like lotus almost. It has like this really great flavor to it.
And what is this made?
It's basically made out of cookie dough. It's a special recipe that I've created.
Okay.
And so it tastes well, and it's sturdy. But as you can see, what you have here is basically a basket, a gift basket. So instead of having it in a plastic basket or any other material that we don't really use at home, you can just eat it. You can break it down
Right.
and eat it.
This must have been the best trial and error.
And I'm sure that kids love this. Yeah, the best trial ever.
This, like,
ever.
figuring out the
That's true.
recipes must have been so much fun.
Well, okay, so let's have a drink,
I
shall
think-
we? I mean, it is the weekend tomorrow. So like you said, each of these shot glasses has a flavor. You can fill them with alcohol.
Right.
The Bloody Mary, what did you fill that with?
With vodka.
With vodka.
It goes
Shocking.
perfect with that.
I knew he was going to go for the Bloody Mary. He is American after all.
I am, yeah.
Oh, wait, but how do we know? So it's jelly. This is made out of jelly.
This is like a gelatinous. Okay. All right.
Okay.
I don't. I'm like excited and scared, but it's.
Wait, you're not going to
that's
take
a good-
one with us?
I've had so many.
She's like, I'm sick of this already. All right,
She's already
so
had a few
cheers,
shots
l'chaim
today.
to us.
L'chaim, yeah.
Oh, that's spicy.
Okay.
Wow. First of all, I know that there's only vodka in here, but it does taste like a Bloody Mary. That's
Does
like
it actually
spot
taste like-
on. That is
I'm gonna
spot
have to
on.
try
I'm
this
gonna
afterwards.
have to eat it.
All right,
Yeah,
so
and those
for
are
those
natural
who want
ingredients.
to purchase your products, where can they find them?
You can find us online on Facebook, and you can just give us a call.
Yeah.
And
If you want to enjoy more than just your meal.
And how much does it cost? And yeah, I think you just asked where it will be available, but how much does it cost?
well, it depends which flavor, which kind of glass would you like, which kind of start
Yeah.
cup. The natural ones, what you're having, which is with real tomato juice, and with Tabasco, those are 7 shekels per unit, and the other
Okay.
ones are 5 shekels.
All right, so it is actually very reasonable. Amazing. All right, well, thank you so much. This is
Thank you.
That's
incredible. This is incredible.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Play on words.
We're all
Hilarious.
incredible.
Oh,
That's
thanks.
the thing.
All right, we're going
was-
to have to try more of this after the show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Adi.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we are smack dab now in the middle of the Harvest Festival of Sukkot, and that means that the seasons are changing, which for some can be a bit intense.
That's fair.
Yeah, but ILTV's Nittany Manson joins us with more. Nittany.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Okay.
So
what's
yeah,
up?
so we are in the middle of Sukkot, which is really fun. People are out building their Sukkot, their temporary dwellings. But while we're in the Sukkah and we are praying for rain because it's the harvest, it's the end of summer, we want rain to grow all the plants.
And that's essentially why we have this holiday in the first place.
Exactly, but the winds are getting a little too intense for some people.
Right.
So I was having so much fun today. I know I was showing Natasha some videos earlier. Look at this. People are building their Sukkot outside, wishing for rain, and then the rain and the wind are coming so strongly that there's
You're
this
just seeing
thing.
Sukkot flying across the country.
We're wishing too well.
We are praying so well that our our prayers are being answered.
Yeah, look
and
at how
Sukkot are
powerful
flying.
tradition is, my friends.
There's this thing that's happening everywhere. You know, it's not only in Israel that people are putting out warnings. Watch out for flying Sukkot. Watch out for debris. I saw actually a tweet from the New York Police Department saying,
Okay, so not just in Israel,
not just in Israel. Secure your Sukkah. Watch out for flying debris.
If I had seen that, I would be sure it was a joke.
No, it's
That's
true.
amazing.
It's actually happened to me, my family. My parents were at synagogue for Sukkot.
Yeah.
They came back. This was 2 years ago, I think, here in Israel. They came back and they were walking home, and suddenly they saw the Sukkah flying away.
And it's so crazy because people put so much work into building these little structures, so it's actually kind of devastating to
It's
see them
horrible.
fly
You
away
put all
like
this
that.
work in making
You're
decorations.
supposed to, yeah.
Well, but we
Yeah.
can't complain because at the end of the day, what we want is rain.
We're
Israel
asking-
needs it. We're asking for it.
It's true. We're in a drought.
So yeah, I guess don't put as much energy into building your sukkah, or
Or
at
maybe
least
just make the walls
Just
heavier.
secure it to the ground.
Right.
That's all, people. That's all.
tie
Well,
it
Nittany,
down.
thank you for giving us this message. So important.
My
and for
pleasure.
amusing us, of course,
Happy
with these
holidays.
videos.
Happy
Happy
holidays.
holidays. All right, let's take a look at the weather forecast. Tonight should be comfortable with an average low of about 68 or 20 degrees Celsius. And then over the holiday weekend, you can expect partly cloudy skies and warm days with highs in the north near Katzlin of about 85 or 29 degrees Celsius. Then in the center, the average high sinks down to 83 or 28 degrees Celsius, followed by the southern highs of Eilat, which will reach upwards of 93 or 34 degrees Celsius.
All right, that's it for today's news. Today's exchange rate is 3.54 shekels to the American dollar. For more news from ILTV, please like ILTV on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. I'm Aaron Porras.
And I'm Natasha Kirchak. Thanks so much for watching.